Best of luck, everyone. And with that, I want to thank everyone on the call for their cooperation, and let's get the show on the road. So we have one candidate running for postgraduate officer against Ron, reopen nominations. To make sure we're all aware, every ballot paper will also have reopen nominations. But we have one candidate for tonight's debate. So let's kick off with Akondu Ako's opening speech. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Akondu, and I'm a postgraduate student of the Masters in Technology and Innovation Management at Angel Street. Today, I'm running for the post of postgraduate officer for many, many reasons. First of all, I believe that a postgraduate student's life, especially in TU Dublin, is divided into 3 phases. And in all 3 phases, there are different problems that are peculiar to, every phase of their life. So we're going to start with pre-postgrad, that is before you get to Ireland, or if you live in Ireland, before you get to school. And there's a lot that goes in there: preparation, knowing what to do, knowing who to speak to, knowing everything that you need to put in place by the time you get to Ireland. And from personal experience, some problems that I have noticed that postgrad students have, mainly before they get to school. Number one has to do with funding. So as a postgrad officer, I would really love to liaise with the school, collaborate with the school authority on how to get better funding, more available funding, scholarships for postgrad students to make their lives easier, also scholarships as well. And also on the school's website, there's a lot of info for postgrad students, but there's only so much that we have there. We still do not know a lot of what you need to expect when we get into TUD. So that is one part that I will mainly focus on. And also the second phase will be during the postgrad phase. As a postgrad student, I have spoken with many postgrad students like myself, and I have seen the same problems that I have seen. There is not a lot of collaboration within the postgrad students with one another. The communities, I would like to expand on the already existing postgrad community, collaborate mainly with the other SU executives and the school government, the school governing board, to create safe spaces for postgrad students, their mental health, their general well-being, and all of that. Also, just like I said with the funding, one of the problems that postgrad students have is that they have to juggle work and external life and have to keep up their good grades. One thing I would do as well is to find resources, ways to help postgrad students to navigate life as a student, and also outside life, because postgrad students are no longer young. We're not undergrads. Our problems differ from undergraduate problems, and so we need to find a way to make life generally better. And then leading up to the end of your postgrad life, your problems then change. You're then thinking of how to navigate the outside world, how to further your career, how to make the best of the knowledge that you've gained in TUD. The school is doing a lot of work. We've seen career fairs, we've seen collaborations and all of that. But as postgrad officer, what I would like to come in to do is to help the students have more resources, more understanding of how...
That's time, Akondu.
Well, thank you.
Well done. All right. So we're going to move on to questions. All right.
Yeah.
So your first question is, how will you ensure effective communication and direct engagement from postgraduate students in your proposed campaigns and initiatives?
Okay. For communication, I will focus on social media. Number one, TU Dublin postgrads do not have a dedicated social media presence like the undergrads have. There's social media presence for other, for the events, for communication and stuff like that, but postgrads specifically do not have. And I would liaise with all the class reps from all the postgrad classes to hear their concerns, hear their problems, and then carry that on to the governing body of the school as the need arises.
Perfect. And that leads on to the second question. Considering that the postgraduate cohort generally spend less time on campus, what specific steps will you make sure that postgraduate students' voices are heard and present in university decisions and policies when they are not as readily available as undergrad students?
Just like I said earlier, postgrad students have one voice speaking for them in all their classes, and that's the class rep. So if they need their voices to be heard, all they need to do is speak to their class reps. I'll make sure that it is easily available and easy for them to speak to their class reps, and the class reps in turn return that info to me, and then we can do what we can from there.
Okay, perfect. And postgraduate students tend to feel more isolated during their college experience, particularly during the research semesters that they have or research students themselves. How would you plan to build a stronger sense of community amongst postgrads to fight that isolation?
Yeah, so far we have societies on board. We have societies in the school that cater to undergrads and postgrads. But what I will do is to create a few societies and meetups tailored specifically for postgrads on the different campuses, so that they can share their problems, share their burdens, and then upload when they can. Also, we can have weekend events, night times, and just to offload all the stress of the school time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So now you have 1 minute for closing arguments.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So from my opening statement, you can see that one of the strongest pillars of my campaign will be collaboration and commitment and communication. I intend to collaborate heavily with the governing body of the school, collaborate heavily with the other student union executives, to bring the best help that I can to postgrad students. Also, communication is key. I'll ensure I keep all my communication lines open via emails, phone calls, texts, and like I said, with the class reps of all the postgrad classes. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Akondu.
Thank you.
Well done. Right. All right. So that was our postgrad officer. We're now going to move on to our debate for the position of Vice President for Welfare and Equality. So we do have 4 candidates running for this position. So I'm just going to let you know what order you will be called. First, we'll have Carlos Palaleo. We'll have next Emanuela Oba. Then we'll have Ojinagwa Obero. And then finally, Yogesh Gupta. So with that, we'll kick off with our first opening speech from Carlos Palaleo.
Can I start? Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Well, not evening, afternoon. My name is Carlos Palaleo. I'm a student from Tala campus, and I'm running for your next VP of Welfare and Equality. A bit about my experience within TU Dublin is I have been a class rep and a member of student council for 2 years in a row, as well as a student ambassador. So I do actually know how maybe like the student union works. I know how to stand up, use my voice, never mind. And I believe I'm confident, actually, I'm the man for this job because I am not like a city campus student. So I kind of recognize the issues within the other campuses and maybe the lack of imbalance between the city campus, city campus and Blanche and Tala. And I believe that like all campuses as a united university, we need the same amount of maintenance as each other. Outside of college, I'm an activist for topics such as anti-racial discrimination, gender equality, men's mental health, and disability awareness, and anti-domestic violence. And I will not stop being an activist for the topics that I'm passionate about. With my run as a VP of Welfare and Equality, I would not necessarily be representing all students, but rather I would want to ensure that all students are able to represent themselves. The right of self-expression is vital in college as we're not here to just learn, but to grow. I would want to ensure that students do have the space to exercise that right. Ensuring that students' well-being is important to me, as without healthy well-being, a student performance may be affected. And we all know that the goal for students is to get their degree and get that bank. And I support that and want to make sure that all students feel well before progressing onto their next stage of life. And honestly, I'm kind of done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Next up for their opening speech, we'll have Emanuela Oba.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emanuela Oba, and I'm also running for Vice President for Welfare and Equality. I just want to introduce myself more. I'm a final year law student, so I'm very versed when it comes to advocacy. In fact, that's the reason why I decided to study law. I'm an Access student. The only way I actually got admission into university is from the Access Foundation program, which has further pushed my passion for welfare of students and equality, because I know what that can do if it's done well. I have a lot of experience when it comes to working with the student union. I have a lot of experience when it comes to working with the student union. In my first year, I was the class rep, and I was also a council member, and I'm currently a part-time access officer um, for students, for access students, as well as one of the access student leaders. So I've been working since my very first year in encouraging welfare and equality for TEW students. I have so many objectives that I want to work with, but I'm going to name just a few because of time, and I'm going to explain how I tend to establish this. My first objective will be safety on campus. I go to the Grange Gorman East Quad building specifically, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there has been a lot of antisocial behavior, especially when you're leaving the campus around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And there have been cases of people getting attacked, specifically women getting attacked from people that don't even attend the university. So I want to implement safety measures such as more security cameras, a hotline that we can call when, or God forbid, when the attack is happening. So I really want to focus on that. Number two is the cafeteria prices. I have not eaten all year. I am hungry. I can't afford it. It is too expensive. Even when I bring my own food to warm, there are no microwaves. So I want to encourage implementation of more microwaves and doing something about these cafeteria prices. I really want to push for more voice. Like, I want to fight against discrimination based on race, gender, sexuality, and so forth, because TU Dublin is a university that has students from all walks of lives, but we're not all given the same opportunities. I have personal experience with that, so that is something I want to tackle on. Better infrastructure. I've noticed. I actually, yesterday I was talking to a few students, and I realized that we don't have enough communal spaces to study, especially, well, in the campus I study at, the East Quad building. We share our communal spaces with people such as children who go there to study music. We don't have spaces of our own specifically, except the library.
Time, Manuela.
Okay, no problem.
Well, we'll have you back soon. All right. Okay, so third up, we'll have Ojanagwa Obero for their 3-minute speech.
Hello, nice to meet you guys. My name is Ojonogwa Obera. I'm an international student from Nigeria. I'm currently studying my master's. I'm doing my master's in Geographic Information Science in the Bolton Street. So firstly, I'm running for the Vice President Welfare and Equality. Welfare basically is about knowing the needs, meeting the needs of specific individuals, which are students, and then equality is feeling inclusive, and then feeling among, and how can someone feel among in the university is by making sure that basic needs are met, and then the environment is free for them to thrive and accomplish their academic goals. The major aim here is the academic goals, and then making sure the environment is free for them to engage in academic activities and accomplish their goals. They already set down communities already established already in the school, and then they already the community is already in the school, and all we just do is I will do once I become the vice president is just to use these channels already that are available to work and meet the needs of the student. While I was working around to get the 75 proposals, I was able to communicate with some students, and I discovered that even despite past administrations, they have been trying, but I discovered that there are so many needs that each student have not really been met, and their voice are not really being heard. And then one major way to get their voice, to listen to speak with the students is, I think, is just like the social media also. I think the social media is not even enough. I think individual contact, communication is very important. Meeting when I met with these students one-on-one just to get their signatures, I was able to communicate with them, and I found out some of the things they will like some adjustments to. So as just like already we have the I plan to create more awareness on sexual act. I plan to create more awareness on disabilities, and then the poverty, and the LGBTQ inclusion also, and then the Black society, and also increase multicultural relationship between the student also. Thank you.
Thank you, Ojenegwa. Okay, so the final candidate's opening speech will have Yogesh next.
Just give me 1 second, please. Can I have that? I'm just putting the timer on, just in case I don't go overboard.
Don't worry. You don't need to time. I will time.
Okay. Sorry. So hi everyone, my name is Yogesh Gupta and I'm running to be your Vice President for Welfare and Equality. Some of you might have seen my posters in Grange Government, or maybe if you follow me on Instagram, where my campaign manager had added laser eyes to my photo. Well, funny or unfunny as it is, to me it's symbolic. They represent the ability to see what others miss, quite stress, hidden struggles and overlooked students. I have lived in India, Pakistan, US and the UK and now Ireland. And I know what it feels like to belong and what it feels like to be left out. And that fuels me a lot. And let me be clear, I haven't waited for a title to start the job. I'm not just here for the votes. I've already spoken to students across the campuses that they feel unheard. The racial bias still exists, especially in the central cord, where African students without student cards were being racially profiled. How do we get rid of it, you may ask? Well, I will introduce mandatory 3-day anti-racial bias training for all TUW security staff. We cannot build a safe and welcoming campus if implicit bias is allowed to go unchecked. No student should feel criminalized for walking through their own university. Students have also told me about T funds that they feel that they are invisible to those who need them the most. I'll push for those the transparency in how they are distributed, so support goes to those who genuinely need it, not just those who know the system. Accommodation is another big issue, especially for international students arriving in the new country, whether they belong to postgraduate or undergraduate. I'll push for clearer housing info, early support, and strong housing partnerships. If elected, I'll introduce a transparent feedback portal where you don't just submit issues, you see them turning into action. I'll build a welfare council where voices from every campus and work with cultural and faith societies to address their concerns. I've already started with this work. The SHARE campaign will truly make it inclusive, especially for students from culturally conservative backgrounds like mine, where these conversations are often taboo. We'll use clear language and safe spaces so no one is left out of the conversation on consent and well-being. On academic support, students have told me that they have waited too long for academic support, especially those that are dyslexic or have ADHD, especially the first years, the ones which are not from first year. But this isn't just about slow emails or delayed appointments. When support is delayed, stress builds. When students are left behind, welfare suffers. It leads to burnout, anxiety, and even depression. That is why I will work with academic services to expand access across all the years, so no one is left struggling in silence. Now, as someone who's trained in data engineering and project management, I just don't believe in ideas and implement them. I bring strategy, structure, and momentum. And finally, let's talk about student life beyond the lecture hall. Our pastoral chaplaincy has raised real concerns about isolation and loneliness on campus. So let's fix that by bringing fun events to city campuses. For example, baking competitions or snooker tournaments. These small things build community and help build real connections amongst students. I have lived across the world and I know what it feels like to be excluded. That's why I've already started listening and already started acting. This isn't just a manifesto, it's my lived experience. So let's work together for less stress and more welfare, because college is hard enough. My name is Yogesh Gupta and let's build the future together. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're moving on to the question segment. As I said earlier, I'll call on you randomly, not in alphabetical order, to answer the question. But for question 1, we'll start with Carlos. Are there any internal or external groups that you plan to work with to create a more inclusive environment and run more inclusive events on the various TUD campuses?
Hi, yeah, so like I would, for the internal groups, I would be working with, like, let's say African society to create more like a diverse awareness of culture. I would also be working when it comes to exterior groups. I would work with Saoirse. They work against domestic violence against women, and I really resonate with their message. And they're currently doing a event in Tala, I believe. And I would want them to do one for City and for Blanche as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Carlos. So next we'll have Yogesh. If you could answer the same question, do I need to repeat it or are you ready to go?
Can you repeat it once more?
Of course. Are there any internal or external groups that you plan to work with to create a more inclusive environment and run more inclusive events on the various TUD campuses?
Well, before this campaign started, before I thought about running for elections, I was already part of the debate society. So I had a idea, and that is why I was able to talk about ADHD and dyslexia, and because one of the students was suffering from that was, and then now I have talked to the African Society and the LGBTQ Society about their issues. I've also created a form for anyone to tell about their issues, and that is why I got about the information about T funds. So I believe that all the societies are representing the TUWN societies represent all groups. So I want to work with them, and I've already started in doing so by engaging with a few.
Thank you, Yogesh. Okay, and Emanuela, do I need to repeat the question or are you ready to go?
I think I'm okay.
Perfect, fire away.
Yes, as for internal groups, like I said, I'm an Access student myself. I'm part of the Access Society here, and I'm already working with them as their student leader and part-time Access officer. I would like to work more with them. There's so much that we're lacking right now. We're lacking so much funding because Access students, the reason why we're Access students is because we can't afford a lot of the things that I guess the traditional student can afford. So personally, I would be working towards that to provide more opportunities for other people to even join from outside. External, I've already contacted the NASC. NASC is an immigration service just to see how we as students can link in with them to combat racial discrimination with students, especially now in such a time like this. I think we need to focus on combating racism. So those would be the two main societies or organizations I'll be working with.
Thank you, Emanuela. And Ojanegwu, your turn. Do you want me to repeat the question or are you good to answer? Ojanegwu, I'm not sure if your mic is on.
Sorry about that. Yeah, basically there's already societies in Dublin, in TUD already, a lot of them, like the Black communities, the LGBT communities, and then disabilities, and others also. So I plan to work with these communities already. I plan to work with them, create more awareness, create more inclusiveness with them, and also external bodies. We have like the Red Cross. They can help with creating more sexual health awareness. I think this sexual health awareness it's like a taboo in the community now. People don't like to talk about it. Everybody's they like to withdraw when you talking making such having such conversations. So I will work with this with the Red Cross and other ones that are still there to encourage it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so question 2, and we'll start straight with you, Ojanegwu, for question 2, okay? So what is the main change or support that you want to lobby for in regards to welfare services on TUD campuses or nationally to improve accessibility to them for students? So the main welfare service.
Basically, I want to lobby for, just like I said, more sexual health awareness, and I want people to still be more aware of their sexuality, and then and also some health related maybe like STDs and things like that that students may suffer, and then disability awareness also. I want people to be more aware and let everybody feel inclusive in the community, in the university, because it's for your voice to be heard in the school is a very, very important thing, so that you don't feel excluded from the decisions. I want the student also to also feel inclusive in decision makings in the school while I'm working with the student union, the president, and other colleagues in the team.
Thank you. Okay. So next I'll get Emanuela to answer the question. Do you want me to repeat it?
Yes, please. Sorry.
Sure, that's okay. What is the main change or support that you want to lobby for in regards to welfare services on TUD campuses or nationally to improve its accessibility for students?
So there are two main ones that I would like to work with. The 1916 bursary, I'm not sure a lot of people know about this. I think from what I know, it's mainly accessible to only access students. I think it should be accessible to all students. It has helped me personally so much. I really think I would want to work and like pushing that for all students at TU Dublin. The second one is the chaplaincy service. It is due to be shut down soon because they lack funding. That shouldn't be. More students that suffer from mental issues, or they need therapy or just counseling. So I'll be looking to kind of have that continued on to providing or looking for how to provide more funding. So those will be the two organizations.
Thank you, Emanuela. So next we'll have Yogesh. Do you want me to repeat the question or are you ready?
I'm ready. So as my friend mentioned about the pastoral chaplaincy, I agree with that. It is required because upon finding out from the chaplaincy itself, the cases in the number of students attending the chaplaincy has increased, especially after the pandemic in Angel Street. So because there is not many activities for students to engage in the campus, and that leads to mental isolation. Then definitely, as I'm an international student myself, I would love to have better accommodation services provided by the campus, and I would really want TUW to work in that regard. Better mental health services, as that I found out one of the major issues with the students. Then as soon as I get elected, if I am, then I'll create a portal called Every Voice Matters, in which every student can address their concerns on that portal, and they need to be sorted out within a time frame. And T funds transparency, so that people know if, which students are getting the funds. And lastly, but not the least, welfare council that would represent every student.
So I'll need to cut you off, your gosh, because that's 1 minute.
Sure,
but thank you. All right. So finally, Carlos, will I repeat the question or are we good to go?
Yes, please.
Repeat it. That's okay. Yeah. So what is the main change or support that you want to lobby for in regards to welfare services on TUD campuses or nationally to improve its accessibility for students?
So I would like to lobby for the chaplaincy service, as I did mention before, that the students' well-being really does affect their performance in college settings. And I would like to just let them know that there is someone out there that is there to advise you, to help you, and to guide you through whatever they're going through. And then they can be sure that they're okay for the next step of their journey. I would also like to lobby for the on-campus nurses, since they do have the most of the information on maybe like sexual health or even mental health or even like physical like damage like a cut or a bruise or whatever. So they're really important to student welfare as a whole. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Carlos. And the final question for this portion of the debate, we're going to start with Emanuela this time, okay? So, how would you ensure marginalised groups feel seen, supported and empowered by the SU, not only in your work, if elected, but in the work of your fellow executive team?
Oh, music to my ears. As you can see, I am a Black woman. I've experienced the other side of not being heard. The main way I believe that this can be achieved is through representation and to actually talking to people. For instance, the African Society, a lot of people that I've talked to, Black people, they don't feel approached enough. Like I was approaching people and they were shocked. They didn't even know about some of the things going on within their own university. They don't feel like anyone cares enough to include them. So I would like to set up events where we can organize Q&As, where we can actually physically engage with the students. I want them to feel like they can talk to us and meet us in person. So just that be one. When it comes to the LGBTQ plus community as well, the exact same thing. Approach, ask questions, set more events, pink training events, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just for me, it's not about representation. They have to see.
Now, Emanuela, thank you.
No problem.
So next we'll have Ojinagwa. Would you like me to repeat the question or are you good to go? Sorry, I think your mic is off.
Okay, yeah. Firstly, I think it's just creating a safe space for the students, and for dialogue, for storytelling, for students to discuss what they feel, and then most importantly, another thing is to engage in campaign events, like physical and mental and sexual events, diversity and disability awareness events, LGBT inclusion, Black History Month. So once these events are happening constantly, people will be more relaxed and feel free to speak out whatever they are passing through, or whatever they can, for their voice to be heard. And also is to work closely with students and to ensure that their concerns are being heard. It's not just about hearing these concerns, but taking steps to make sure these concerns are actually met, and also collaborate with other social groups.
Time, unfortunately, but thank you. Okay. So next we'll have Carlos. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Sure. How would you ensure marginalized groups feel seen, supported, and empowered by the SU, not only in your own work if elected, but in the work of your fellow executive team?
Yeah, so as Emanuela said, that it's music to my ears as well. As someone who is of color, I have faced racism from COVID era to the recent November riots. So I know how it feels to be kind of discriminated against just based on my appearance, and I'm really not okay with that personally. So I would actually like to promote events with culturally diverse groups such as like Filipino Society, Islamic Society, Afro Society, and we can work together and just spread more awareness that we are here. This is a university for us all, you know, and we just have a bit more visibility on campus because we deserve that kind of recognition as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos. And finally, Yogesh, do you want me to repeat the question or are you ready?
I'm ready. So one of the issues which I mentioned in my speech already was conducting training workshops for all the security guards that are employed, so that there is so that the workshop would be about anti-discrimination policies at the campus. Then there should be awareness about Black History Month that needs to be promoted. And enough campaigns, enough chances should be given to all the students that they get to know about the history of Africa, so that they have respect for it at a much larger level. The share campaigns, as I mentioned, we need to engage societies like the Islamic Society, Christian Society, as well as South Asian Society, even the African Society, so that more and more people become part of it. I have also experienced racism, as I've mentioned that I've lived in different places. So it feels very sad and isolated, like really bad if you're excluded from people. So yeah, those are some of the things that I wish whomsoever gets elected does.
Thank you, Yogesh. Okay, so well done, everyone, on answering your questions. We're now going to move on to closing remarks. So we're back to the alphabetical order. I will call you. You will have 1 minute and it'll be timed as usual, all right? So first up for their closing remark, we'll have Carlos Palileo.
Hi again. So I don't really have much to add on, but I'd just like to thank everyone for listening. and to vote me for number 1 as the VP of Welfare and Equality, because I will be the VP of Welfare and Equality that will just fight for the right to live, the right to be, and the right to love. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carlos. And next we'll have Emanuela for her closing speech.
Hi again. Yeah, thank you to everyone for listening to me yap and go over the time each time. But yes, my main goal is to be a representation to stand and to encourage people that it doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, what you believe, you can be in a position to help others and you shouldn't feel ignored, especially as a student. TU Dublin is a great university. I will never ever forget this experience. And I hope I'm given the chance to represent you guys and to fight for you. And yes, I love you all.
Thanks, Emanuela. So, Arjunagwa.
I just want to say thank you guys for this opportunity, and I think this is just a call to serve, and it's just a position to serve and let people's voice be heard and let people feel inclusive. Even me myself as a student also to feel inclusive, and then if elected as the vice president, I wish to work well in hand with the president of the president and the colleagues and other executive the team, and then to collaborate more and then see how the welfare needs and people feeling needs of people the students can be met and how they can feel inclusive in the school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, Yogesh for your closing argument.
As a person of Indian origin, I believe in the theory of Vasudev Kutum, which actually is a Sanskrit slogan for "the world is my family." So I hope that if I'm elected, that I can fight for mental health awareness and the Shag campaign and the Black History Month and all the things that I've talked about in my speech. I do have experience, like I just came 7 months ago into this country, but I do have experience as a class rep, as a faculty rep for the School of Business, as well as the Academic Quality Enhancement Committee member. So I have been fulfilling those duties, and I hope I get one more chance to finally, make a difference at a much larger level. And whether you're from Cork or from Karachi, whether you're from LGBTQ group or a mature student or someone struggling in silence, I hope I can represent you, as I'm not just representing a single group. And my name is Yogesh Gupta. I hope you vote for me on April 10th, and let's make TU Dublin even a better university than it is now. Thank you.
Thanks, Yogesh. Okay, so that's it. Massive congratulations to all our candidates. You did extremely well today, and I'm sure your student body know what you're all about, know what you stand for, and are more informed than they were yesterday. A big thank you to the staff in the SU for putting on another leadership debate event, and thanks to the students who submitted questions in advance, and thanks candidates for keeping this very respectful throughout. Your elections will take place across all campuses on April 10th. Just make sure to check the times. They're different than the March elections, so make sure you don't miss out. And with the count taking place on the 11th, if you're not sure what time or where you can vote, just check the SU website. And thank you, everyone. And I hope everyone watching you have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Well done.
Thank you, everyone. Please come to vote.
Enjoy the rest of the campaigning season, all right?